Alright guys, hopefully I can power through this because I'm a little under the weather right now, but I'm going to try to power through my top 20 LCD game list that I've talked about working on but never did. Um, Now this list is not going to be in any particular order, but it's going to be in company order, I would say. Like all the Tiger Electronic games, all the other set games I have on here are going to be in order, so. And all its price ranges and stuff like that. Um, like I said, my voice is a little jacked up, so if I like get stuttery or anything, it's because my throat's all messed up. But I'm gonna try to power through it anyway, and here we go. So again, top 20 LCD games I recommend buying. We'll start with the first one, which is Project Alien. Now this game was part of the Arcade Classic series, I believe is what it was called. And I actually bought this game as a kid when I was like with my parents one day. I saw it, thought it looked cool, and bought it, and it was cool. And I think it retailed for like $20 retailed. And it's basically a re-release of a game called Operation Aliens. You just run and gun through levels, picking up different weapons, and you have to kill alien queens at the end of each level. There's 4 stages, I believe, and now it's about $10 to $15. You can buy one new for like $25, I think, on eBay right now. But I would just go the used route. It's the easiest way. But it's a very fun game to pick up. So pick it up if you find it cheap anywhere. It's a really fun game. Next thing I want to talk about is Batman. Now, a lot of people say this game is bad, but I don't really think it's too bad. It's not great, but it's a nice cheap starter game for your Tiger Electronics collection. So this game, you play as Batman, of course, and you're going through Gotham City trying to get to the Joker. You can pick up points and basically get like 3 lives. You might be able to pick up more lives. I'm not sure. I haven't really played the game enough to know, but I believe there's 5 stages. It's basically you just throw batarangs at different enemies and you just get to the end of each level. And I wouldn't pay more than probably $15 for this. I got this one relatively cheap though, so you might be able to find it for like 10 if you're lucky. So definitely pick this one up, especially if you're a Batman fan. Okay, the next one is Altered Beast, and this one is a really good one. If you like the side-scrolling beat 'em up type games, this is more of a side-scrolling action game. It's not really beat 'em up, but it represents the Sega Genesis game very well. You can still transform into the wolf and the other things you transform into, and it's actually pretty sought after with not only Tiger collectors, just Sega collectors as well, because this sits about $25-$30. So if you can find it for less than that, go for it. But 25 would be my max. But yeah, this is definitely worth picking up. If you're a fan of Altered Beast and you're looking to try to get into Tiger Electronic, this is probably a good Sega starter to get into getting. Next one is Golden Axe. I kept these two together because they're basically kind of the same game, sort of. So it's basically the same thing as Altered Beast. You just hack and slash your way through. I believe you play as Trice Flare. I'm almost positive, just because of what the magic attack is. And I think you get most magic I've ever gotten is like 4, and you press the magic button. It does a little animation. It's crude, but you can tell they tried to do it. Now this one's fairly uncommon, so you'll probably have to pay at least $25 to $30 for this game. But if you see it, definitely pick it up. It usually comes on eBay around the UK, so be checking worldwide listings for this one because this one's not that common in the US. So definitely put this one up. Okay, the next one is another one that's kind of crapped on a lot in that Simon's Quest. And I get why. I mean, it's not really a good representation of Castlevania as a whole. But, they did good with what they had to work with. I mean, you know how bad some of these games are. But this gives a decent representation of what um, Simon's Quest is. There's a whip up, a whip down, a sword button, which I don't know why I call it a sword. It's like a dagger. And then, I forget what the other two buttons are. I believe they're like jump forward and jump up. And the jump forward just basically jumps you over, like gaps. So anyway, this game is really worth picking up. It's only about $25. And there's like 5 stages. There's also a wristwatch version, which is a little bit different. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is Double Dragon 2. Now you probably wonder why did I put the first one on here. Well, the first one, I actually agree with most people. The first one is terrible. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible Tiger Electronic game. Do not buy that game. That game is terrible. I have like 3 copies of it. Why? Because I bought a lot of lots. But anyway, let's get back into talking about Double Dragon 2 Revenge. Okay. Now this game is actually a pretty good step up from Double Dragon 1. Actually did a pretty good step up with the jumping, and you can sway, you can punch, kick, and throw. I think you can throw, pretty sure. But this one is actually a really fun one. It gets really hard too, especially when you get towards the end of the game. So don't pay more than like $25 for this one. If you're playing Double Dragon, pick it up. And of course, I had to put another Double Dragon on here, Double Dragon 3, because this one's another step up from Double Dragon 2, because you can actually pick between more characters, Billy, Jimmy, and Chin. But that's only like after the first 2 stages, I believe. And this one's basically the same. You can pick up health, nunchucks, stuff like that. It's actually really good, really fun game. I wouldn't pay more than $20, but you can find it cheap. Most of that for like 10 to 15, but 20 would be my max for this. But yeah, it's definitely a good representation of what DD3 is, and it's very difficult. It's a very difficult game. Most of these type of games are difficult just because they're not that good. But this is a video type ones I recommend if you want to try to get into them. Now this next one, Gargoyles Night Fight, holds a special place in my heart because this is my very first Tiger Electronic game I had as a kid. I've had this. The picture here is not my copy, but I've had my copy since I was a kid. And I probably got it back when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. So I've had it a long time. So this one always holds a special place in my heart. No, it's not that good, but I think it's still fun today. It's really easy for kids to pick up and play it. It's a really simple game. There's left, right, punch, and call. Which the call button just calls the other gargoyles to help you. Like I said, this one's really fun. It's really simple, really easy to get into. So really good for kids. Don't pay more than like $10 for it. I would say 15 at max. Okay, this next one's a really difficult game, but it's a really good game. And it's a decent representation of what Gauntlet is. And of course, I just said it, Gauntlet. Now, the weird thing about this is, you would think, like, how can Gauntlet translate into a Tiger Electronic? Well, it's not very good, but they tried. You can pick up keys and bombs or potions. They call them bombs for some reason. I don't know why. But you can pick those up. You can unlock doors. You can get health, of course. You can unlock keys, chests, I think. Your health drains when you move. You can play as a warrior or a Valkyrie, I think. I don't remember. But this is really good. It's really long. It's longer than most Tigers. But like I said, if you like Gauntlet and you want to give this one a try, it's probably around, I think, $15, $20 now. So pick it up. Okay, a lot of people crap on these games too, the Mega Man games. I picked Mega Man 3 because it's the first one I played, and I played a lot of it. Haven't beaten it, but um, I got pretty close to beating it, but it's pretty hard. Now, Mega Man 3 is not a very good representation of what Mega Man has to offer on the NES. But I mean, they did good for what they could do with Tiger. You fight the different bosses, Parkman, Gemini, all them bosses, and then you can choose the weapons, and you can use the R-Jet at some points. It's a decent representation of Mega Man. They tried. Not a very good one, but if you're a Mega Man collector, it's good for a pickup. Don't pay more than like 15, 20, 25 max, I would say, for this one. Now, this next game is a really fun game, Ninja Gaiden 2. Now, I believe this is one of the first talking Tiger games, I'm pretty sure. Part of their Game Talk series, before they moved on to just calling it Talking. This game talks. It says stuff like, look out. When you start the game, it says, it says like, the end of your life draws near, ha ha ha, and it laughs. It's kind of neat that it talks. It says, look out. Then when you pick up different weapons, it'll say like what weapon you picked up, and it'll say other stuff. I'm not sure what all it says to you, but it's a really neat representation of Ninja Gaiden 2. And it's a really fun game to play. This one's probably like $20, $25, just because it's Ninja Gaiden. So definitely pick it up if you're a fan of Ninja Gaiden. And the next game I want to talk about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dimension X Assault. Now, this game is actually this is another talking game. This is when they moved on to their talking series. And I want to mention most of these games all of them I talk about, I cover on the channel. So if you want to see gameplay of any of these before you buy them, check out my channel. Anyway, this game talks. It's very fun to pick up and play. It's not that hard. It's a really fun pick up and play game for like 20, 25 minutes. If you have 25 minutes to kill, it's really fun. That the voice clips they have in here. If you're a Turtles fan, definitely pick it up. I enjoy it just because it's classic Turtles, and who doesn't love classic Turtles? Cowabunga, dude, who doesn't love that? Yeah, brah. It's probably to do with how my throat is. But there you go, hand 10, brah. Alright, next one is another one that holds another special place in my heart, and that's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, Sonic 2 was, I think, my second game I ever had. It was either Gargoyles was my first, or this was my first. But I'm pretty sure this was my second. And this game is not very good for a Sonic game, but I enjoy it because, like I said, it holds a special place in my heart. So if you're a Sonic collector and you want to get into these, this was fairly cheap. It's like $15 at most. And you play as Sonic and Tails. You're fighting coconuts, I believe, in the first 2 levels, I think. And then level 3, you fight other robotic robots. And then at the end of each level, of course, you fight Dr. Robotnik. And that's it, basically. That's basically the whole game. So pick it up if you like Sonic. Okay, next up I did Sonic 3. I didn't do Sonic 1 because Sonic 1 is just standard side scroller. You just press right a bunch. That's why I didn't cover that one. These two are the more interesting ones in my opinion. But Sonic 3, it's actually more interesting because you guys go to the special stages. I mean, it's nothing too special, but whatever. They tried to capture Sonic 3 a little bit better. And you can use Tails to get you out of, like, places you've fallen, I think, or something. Not sure what his functionality is. I'm pretty sure it's what he's supposed to do, but like I said, if you're a Sonic fan, pick up any Sonic games. Definitely worth it. This one's probably about $10, $15. And yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. Now this next one is another early Tiger game, and it's Space Fight. Now Space Fight's actually pretty good. It's like an asteroids type game. You're basically a space station. You turn the turrets around to fire, and then you basically just fire different ships that come at you, different boulders and asteroids, whatever. They come at you. It's basically point based. It gets faster and harder each stage you get to. It's basically a point based game. I don't think there's any end to it really. But this was one of my first games I actually got on eBay for like I think it was like $5 back then. I got it a lot with a bunch. It was like $20 for everything. So yeah, this game sits at like probably $15 now if I had to guess. So definitely pick it up if you like little space shooters. Now breaking away from Tiger Electronic, we're gonna move on to a Micro Games America game, and of course, it's Rolling Thunder. And I chose the black color because that's what I own now. I sold the original tan one I had. I did a video of the tan version. I had the tan version. But I since got one in the package with the black release. But this is basically like Rolling Thunder. You pick up bullets by going into doors. It'll say bullets or time. And you basically just go up the ladders and try to find Agent Lila. And then you just, or Leela, whatever the hell her name is. And then you go save her. Each level it gets harder and faster. The enemies get faster and harder. And there's a continue feature, so if you want to keep going, see how fast you can get to go. That's always fun. This one's probably about $25, $30 because it's kind of hard to find. So definitely pick it up if you're a Rolling Thunder fan. Next game is C, or Contra. And this one's a Konami game. Now this one's actually a pretty good representation of what Contra is. That's one thing about Konami they did really good. Is they made decent representations of their properties onto electronic LCD games. And this one, it's similar to like the 3D base levels where you're moving left to right. That's basically what this one is modeled after. You basically just hit left and right, dodging stuff, and going to the end of the level. And basically, that's basically it. But it definitely gets faster and harder. I have not beaten this one yet because, hello, it's Contra. It's going to be hard. So if you're looking to get into a hard Contra game, this is a good one to get. It's probably around $25, $30 because it's Contra. So definitely pick it if you're a Contra fan. Okay, the next one is another Konami game. And I figured I put a Star Trek game on here because this one actually talks. There's a few talking Konami games. This is, I think, one of the first ones. I think this is the first Konami game that talks. It says like "Beam Me Up, Scotty." It says like warp speed and a few other things. I'm not sure what it all says because some of the stuff it says is hard to understand. But you play as the Enterprise and you're shooting Klingon ships. You shoot like I think it's like 3 or 4 in the first level, and then like the second level you're using the transporter to transport people up from the planet. And then you can also repair your shields. And it's a really fun Star Trek game. If you want to get this game, it's probably around $15, $20. Okay, this next one is a Game & Watch game we want to talk about. And of course, who wouldn't want to talk about Mario? Okay, now Mario, I'm sure you guys know what this Mario game is. Everybody pretty much knows what this Game & Watch is. It's basically a platform where you just go to the end and until you get to the end, and then it gets harder, faster. It's actually a fairly expensive game. It's like $60, $65, sometimes $70 to $80, depending on the condition. But you can also get a cheaper version. It is a mini classic keychain. Those are running like $20 to $30, depending on where you get them from. GameStop sold these for a while in silver. They were like $15, I think. So you might get lucky and find them there. So definitely pick it up if you're a Mario fan. Okay, and finally, I want to talk about one of my favorite handheld games of all time that I have, and that's Legend of Zelda. Now, this one is actually probably the most pricey one on the list because it's about it's about $100 to $120, sometimes more, depending on like scarcity on eBay. And this was a dual screen, multi screen game. You basically just fight on the bottom screen, and then when you fight the bosses, which are dragons, that takes place on the top screen. You get a tomahawk, a map, and water of life refills your health. So like I said, this game's really hard to find. It's probably $120. And if you guys have any questions about anything on this list, more in-depth questions, let me know, and I'll be sure to answer them as quick as possible. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Top 20 LCD games I recommend. Peace out.